you were talking about Revolution, the
Mm,
song,
mm.
and that was the theme for Generator Rex. Is that right?
Yep.
The TV show, sort of Cartoon Network TV show.
Yeah, man, that was like I think they just celebrated their 10-year anniversary this month, I think.
Right,
Unbelievably. Yeah.
it's crazy.
Uh, yeah,
And is that
we
still the
got
theme for it?
well, it only ran for 2 seasons, so it wasn't on for very long. But they
Right,
never chose a different theme, no. So and they actually used all of our tracks from all of our 3 albums at the time, throughout the entire show, which was amazing. And
that's crazy, man.
um, how that came about was such a funny story. Like, just talk about luck, man. Like, what happened was this was our third album on Hellcat, which is associated with Epitaph Records, who were a much bigger indie label. And their publishing department got a call from Cartoon Network saying, "Hey, we're doing this kids show, and we're looking for kind of fun, pop punky sort of bands." And Hector, the guy who took care of the publishing, was like, "Oh, well, Orange is pretty much fits that bill, especially with their new stuff." So he sent over our discography, which included B-sides. We never put Revolution out. It wasn't even on the
Right.
album. We just thought it wasn't very good.
Mhm.
So, I mean, we didn't even put it on, as like a Japan-only exclusive, which a lot of bands did for many, many years. We didn't. It just was not out there in the world at all. No one could find it. It didn't exist. So when they sent over the discography, that was in the collection, and the supervisor heard that, and luckily it starts with the chorus,
Yeah,
and was just like, "Bingo, that is exactly what we're looking for." So they
it
very
totally fits,
quickly,
man. It totally
yeah,
fits.
yeah. So it was just a huge stroke of luck, and then from that, they used all of our songs as kind of part of the deal throughout the whole series. And if you watch the series, the chap who did the rest of the music was he's still I still follow him on Instagram. We chat every now and then. What's his name? Gosh, I can't remember. But if you listen to it, he made music that sounded like Orange for the show. So like
Right.
musical interludes, they
Yeah,
sounded like Orange. It wasn't Orange playing, but he told us he was like, "Yeah, I've got to make all these songs now that sound like you guys." So we were a
that's
massive part
crazy,
of that
man.
show. Well, that was easily the biggest thing we were ever a part of. And to this day, like even if I'm doing my streams or Instagram, every single day without fail, I get fan mail saying like, "Oh man, you guys were the soundtrack to my childhood, and I love
Yeah,
Generator Rex." And it's like, dude, it's so weird to me because at the time I think I was 22 or something. So I was already an adult, and now I'm 32. I'm a super adult. So when
yeah,
I was, I was already a grown man by the time these children uh, were listening to it, and now 10 years on, they're grown men. It's
yeah.
just such a bloody weird thing.
It's
Oh, this is
nuts,
one of my
man.
favorite stories. I've got to tell you this. So about a couple months after the show premiered, I was really into Pokemon cards at the time, and I would go to tournaments, and I ended up competing in the world tournament with my friend Jasper. We lost first round, but
That's awesome, man.
at one of the leagues, I was, playing, and then next to me was this kid, and he's just starts going, "Make way, start the revolution," which is Revolution. And
Yeah.
I turned to him and I was like, "Oh, you like that song?" He goes, "Yeah, dude." And I was like, "That's my band," because Generator X had just started by then. He was like,
Uh-huh.
"What? What do you mean?" I was like, "Yeah, that's my band. We wrote that song." He could not believe it. It's like he's peeing his pants. And for me, I was peeing
That's
my
crazy,
pants
man.
too, because
Yeah,
stuff like that never happened to me until that moment. So
yeah.
yeah, the whole Generator X thing was just an absolute blessing. Yeah.
I was going to say, I imagine that would have been like the one of those stepping stones that
Mm.
took it to just a total different level.
Yeah. I mean, it was for a while. And at that time, we really thought this is going to be it. Like, this is how we get, on the radio. That's how we get discovered by a major record label to do the fourth album. And at that time, also, our cover of Perfect Day was going to be used in a Glenn Close movie as the theme song.
Right.
And we had just announced, the Zebrahead tour. So all the stars were aligning, and it didn't happen for whatever reason. Oh, and we also they were going to use our song "Each Other" as the theme song to that movie "She's Out of My League." It was going to be the credits song.
Right, cool.
Oh man, all these things were going to happen, and it was just like overnight, none of them happened.
Yeah.
And it didn't. We didn't blow up, but we had some really amazing experiences from that for sure. Yeah.
One of those things, I don't know if well, it probably was before the generator Rex thing.
Mm.
Was the OC? Is that right? One of your
I forgot
songs were
about
featured in
that.
OC.
Yeah, I totally
Um,
forgot. Holy shit, that was
like
huge. Yeah.
I still am like a huge OC fan. It's probably like
Oh,
unsuspecting, man. Like,
yeah, man.
I don't know what the sort of California
Mm.
feeling is towards the OC. If it was like if people
It's
viewed it like
huge.
as a good thing,
Oh,
but
massive. Mm.
like for me, man, like I actually discovered the OC like late. I knew that
Mm.
everyone was watching it like when it was
Mm.
out,
Mm.
um, but I think it was like towards the end of like the third season. I
Mm.
started watching and I got really into it. I actually got into it when it started getting bad, and then
Mm. Good
eventually,
timing. Yeah.
so I was catching like episodes and I didn't really understand the storyline. And then on one of the channels over here, they started it from the pilot,
Yeah.
and the pilot just got me hooked because I think the
Mm.
pilot is genuinely like one of the best
Mm.
pilots of a TV show that I've ever seen, man.
Oh, sweet.
Um, yeah, so like I'm a huge
That's
OC
so
fan.
funny.
I was trying to figure out like
Mm.
where it was, and I found like the episode that you guys were in, and I remember that episode as well. It's like the lock
Yeah,
in
the party scene,
episode.
yeah.
Yeah,
We got really, I mean, that was nuts. That was our first album, and that was also our first time on TV. So it was the first time that, a supervisor had bought the right to use the song, and we all had a little party to watch the episode, and we couldn't believe they played about pretty much the entire song. It was almost like 3 minutes. And most of
yeah,
the music that gets used in that show is maybe on for like 15 seconds, as a stinger, a transition, but they used the whole damn song. And we got a big fat paycheck. We got 20 grand for that shit, which was
wow,
unheard of. You would never, ever, ever, ever get that now.
yeah,
So, we split that 4 ways, and that was our first big, kind of thing. And then at the end of that episode, it's probably not online. But what they used to do was at the end of each episode of the OC, they used to have the announcer right after the credits say, "Tonight's episode of the OC featured music by," and then they show the album cover and they say the band name. And they
okay,
used Orange. They actually said featured music from Orange. And little undercover fact, that's not free. You actually have to pay for that, believe it or not. So Hellcat had to pay, I think it was either $5,000 or $10,000. It was
what?
pricey, yeah, to have that 5 second stinger at the end of the
Yeah,
credits to say, featured by blah blah blah. And then
that's nuts,
from that
man.
we got like on an episode of Dog the Bounty Hunter, and then we did some football games. But yeah, the OC was the first big thing.